Hey, Superdads. Thanks for tuning in here. Happy to see you back. Today, I want to speak relatively briefly about benefits of HIIT training that don't get a whole lot of press or a lot of attention, and I really think that they should. Now, full disclosure, these benefits are not physical benefits, though they are connected to physical benefits. They're actually psychological benefits. And, before you say, that's not what I'm here for, or I want to learn how to build muscle or lose fat or look better or be stronger, these sorts of things, please do not discount the importance of the psychological element in that process. What the research says thousands of different things. It says also, you can find research that supports just about anything, but what you will struggle to find is research that supports the idea that consistency isn't important. It really does come down to consistency. If you have, a volume approach, if you have, a keto diet or intermittent fasting, or, you're taking a higher intensity approach, or really it comes down to, do you stick to the plan for the long term? Are you able to comply with it? So the science is compliance, as they say. So really, consistency is key here, and that consistency is not a physical thing. It's a psychological thing. It comes from your psychology. It comes from your ability to sustain motivation long term. So please don't discount these psychological benefits. So without further ado, here's the first one. HIIT training allows you to actually crush a workout. I mean, how often have you gone, you've seen people talking about, oh, man, I crushed a workout. Oh, I'm going to crush a workout today. Crushing it. And they use this word, and it doesn't have to be crushed, but you get what I'm going for here. Like this sentiment that you're going to go in and kill it. You're just going to get after it in the gym. Okay, if you're not doing some form of HIIT training, then what does it mean to be crushing a workout? That's you doing a set, sitting around for a minute, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, maybe looking at your phone, maybe spacing out, even if you're one of the rare few people who's like focused. So crushing it means sitting around for more time than you spend actually doing work. Is that what it means? Wow, you really crushed it, bro. Nice job. Seriously, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. They spend more time setting up their camera, or they're Instagramming in between sets. Dude, if you are doing any of those things in your workout, you don't get to say that you're crushing it, all right? If you're doing HIIT, you're going in there, you're picking up the weights, you're moving the weights, you're destroying every set that you go after, right? That is your goal. And not even destroying the set, you're destroying yourself. You're crushing yourself, but you're doing it, in a motivated, positive way. That's what it means to crush a workout. You're not taking all this time sitting around, waiting, jabbering with your friends, all this kind of stuff. You're getting after it. So that is a real benefit, because crushing it, this is just a word, but most men in my experience, being a man and knowing men, knowing sort of how we're raised and socialized, but also the effects of testosterone, all of the whole package, right? We like battling dragons. We like casting ourselves into the fire every once in a while. If we don't have that, life starts to sort of lose its color. I mean, what is it? We all love Fight Club, I would imagine. If you don't, then what are you doing watching this channel? Go watch the movie Fight Club. Obviously, it portrays masculinity in not the most glowing way, but the idea that after fighting, everything else gets the volume turned down, I think is an important idea, but it's not completely accurate, because I think without some sort of struggle or some sort of battle in your life, the rest of your life just becomes a pallid, gray slog of habit and not being present. When you're able to engage in something fully, whether it's fighting, martial arts or whatever you might do on the side, or whether it's battling with the weight or battling with yourself, because really that's so much of what HIIT training is about, is battling, going after yourself. When you're able to do that, the rest of your life takes on more light, more color, more, it just has a greater appeal. So it's a battle. It's battling dragons. And not only that, but it's knowing that you're going to fail. You're going in there to fail. You're not going in there to see if you can eke out a win. You're going in there to fail gloriously. And I don't know about you, but all of my favorite heroes are the ones who engage in a battle that they know they're destined to lose. And they give it everything they've got regardless. And they fail gloriously. And that's really one of the things I love about HIIT training. Sort of related to this is the aggressive nature of HIIT training. Now, if you're not pursuing high intensity, if you're not seeking to aggressively fatigue your muscles, then what are you doing? I would venture to guess that you are seeking to timidly fatigue your muscles. What is doing all of this multiple set training where you're approaching failure and then you have like 4 reps in reserve and then you decide to sit down and wait a little while and then you do another set, and as soon as you start to feel like you're getting anywhere near failure, you back off and wait. That is timidly fatiguing your muscles, and I don't want any of that. Keep it away from me. It's not interesting. I want to get after it. I want to aggressively fatigue the muscles. That is a great outlet for the aggressive instinct, the aggressive urge that many men feel. Okay, moving on from that, there is the question of flow states. Flow states, now I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. If you're not, this is very important research. You should check it out. I'm sure there are 1,500 videos on YouTube about flow states, but it comes from research done originally by a researcher named Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. I stumbled a little bit over it. Promised myself I wouldn't, but yes, Csikszentmihalyi is his name. Don't try to spell it. And what he found was that people who experience more flow states in their daily lives are just happier. They have better mental health. Just overall, they're greater life satisfaction. It's one of the most crucial pieces of life satisfaction. And if you are approaching training in a standard way where you're doing multiple sets and you're resting in between, it's very hard to get into a flow state because you keep breaking your flow. And short synopsis of what flow is, it's essentially when you're doing something that is just on the edge of doable for you. It's challenging at just the right degree where it's manageable, but only if you're really focused and really dialed in on it. Right? And I can't think of a better description of that than HIIT training, because you're always pushing that limit. You're always just on the edge. If you're not completely focused on what you're doing, then you're not doing HIIT training. You need to be with the weights. I mean, when I train HIIT, when I exercise, I typically am listening to some sort of podcast, and afterwards, I can't remember a single thing that I heard. I should probably just listen to music because I'm so focused on the exercise that really not much of it gets in. And that's a good indication that you're in a flow state. It's also, you can notice that time will sort of feel like it's condensed. So you do like a 30-minute workout, but it feels like it took 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something. Like, wow, where did the time go? Now, even though it's a short workout, 30 minutes is a short, intense workout, but it doesn't feel like 30 minutes because you're just so focused on what you're doing. And there's a joy, there's a satisfaction that comes from being in a flow state like this. And so in my experience, HIIT is perfect for achieving flow states. It's for beginners, it might not feel that way, but as you get more advanced, as you know what you're doing, where you're going, what your next step is, right? Then you're not having a whole lot of internal dialogue, question, answer sort of stuff. It's just get to it, get to the work, focus completely on it, and obviously push yourself to the whatever extreme you're able to. And this is going to help so much with mental health and stress. So I really think that getting that out, obviously, important stuff. Okay, there's also, if we have a crisis in most of our developed countries, in the developed world, the biggest crisis we face is a crisis of comfort. And what is 3-set training or multiple set training than a comfortable way to exercise. I mean, you're sitting on padded benches in between. You're pushing yourself until it starts to get uncomfortable and then backing off. None of that, man. We need more discomfort. We need intentional discomfort. We need to lean into causing ourselves discomfort because it makes us more resilient, but also because of the struggle, man. I already talked about it. The struggle, so important. And HIIT is a perfect way to inject that into your life. Safely inject it. Now, if you're doing martial arts or something like that, you're doing downhill mountain biking, whatever it is, these are other great ways to do it. They're not as safe, though. They're not as safe. And they're not going to necessarily make you more physically capable. Sure, they'll make you more capable in an physical altercation. You can throw punches better. Or if you have to ride your mountain bike away from zombies down a mountain or something like that. Sure, these might be important capabilities to have. But strength that you build, a more aesthetic or confident appearance based upon muscle that you've built. These things generalize across all sorts of areas of your life. So I think, if you're going to deal with the crisis of comfort by injecting discomfort, this is a great direction to go in. Kind of conversely to all the stuff I've already talked about, HIIT training is also a great way to train your patience, to improve your patience. Why do I say that? Well, when you're doing the workouts, there's not a whole lot of patience involved. You're getting into it, it's foot on the gas. But compared with a higher frequency approach to training, you have to be more accepting of the fact that recovery takes time. That if you get into the gym again or get to your weights again too soon, you're actually short-circuiting the process and you won't get all of the benefits that you might have otherwise. And that can be very difficult for some people. Maybe there are a lot of people out there, I'm sure that there are, who, they're like, oh, wow, thank goodness I only have to work out once a week or twice a week. Oh, wow, what a burden off my shoulders. And there's part of me that feels that way in terms of like saving time. But there's definitely another part of me, and I know this is true for a lot of people, who feel like they lost something when they moved to more of a HIIT style because it took away their excuse, is really what it is, to spend more time exercising. It's tough to be patient sometimes. It's tough to say, man, I trained on Tuesday, I hit it hard, it's Thursday, I could do another one. I really could do another one today. It requires that patience. And this is especially tough for people who fall into one of three categories. One would be people who use exercise as an escape. And this is probably a bigger category than many people realize. Exercise is a fantastic escape. It gets the endorphins pumping. You feel good. You feel like you're doing something productive. And it is productive in many cases. Not always, though. I've had many clients who, their family life isn't great. Maybe they're dealing with the fallout of a divorce or something like that. And they end up exercising every single day for an hour, 90 minutes, or something like that. There's no other way to describe it than they're using it as an escape, or they're using it as a coping strategy, as a way to, just like you might fall into drinking too much as a way to deal with life situation that you're struggling with. And exercise can be abused in just the same way. Coping strategy. And there are people who use it as punishment as well. Obviously, it's a common trope, the person who eats the cheesecake or whatever it is, and then the next day they have to punish themselves for what they did by smashing it in the gym or something like that. None of these are healthy mental standpoints from which to engage in exercise. They will lead to a dysfunctional relationship with exercise and with yourself. HIIT training forces you to be patient. It's tough to use HIIT training as a coping mechanism. It's tough to use it as, you could potentially use that as a punishment, but if you're doing it right, it's not at hand all the time to be used as a punishment. It's not a great escape strategy, you know? So in that sense as well, it forces you to face the stuff that you would normally be escaping from, coping with, or punishing yourself about. And if you don't face those things, you can't deal effectively with them. So, kind of a long ramble, but hopefully that you got some valuable stuff from this. If you're not sure where to start with, how to get into doing HIIT training, you don't like gyms, anything like that, you can check out the programs I put together. They're down below. We got Bodyweight program, Dumbbell program. Both of them can be done at home. And there's a free program there as well, 3-Minute Muscle, if you want to get just a taste of what it would be like to do dynamic to failure HIIT training in your home. Okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.